This is a new website that I have just found. It's called ifaketext.com. I love this website because it allows you to make fake text messages back and forth between multiple characters. This can be used in many ways in your classroom, especially in centers, and your students will love it. There are many different ways to use ifaketext.com in the classroom. I'm sure you will come up with many ways of your own. I am going to teach you about 3 or 4 different ways that I have found for using this tool in my classroom. One way I have used this with my students in my own classroom is to show protagonist versus antagonist relationships in literature. We've been reading Where the Red Fern Grows, and in this story, Billy is the protagonist and Reuben and Rainey Pritchard are the antagonists. We know of a major scene in this story that involves these 3 characters. Here, my students were to text message a summary of this scene. Here are 2 examples. The first one is talking about the specific dollar amount of the bet they make. The second set of text messages actually describes the bet. It shows their knowledge that the bet was about catching the ghost coon. They also know how much the bet was. They also used voice in the way they talked, with like, yeah, y'all, and talking about catching the biggest coons in the river bottom. Both of these text messages show me understanding of the story and of the relationship and summarizes what happened during this scene. Another way to use ifaketext.com is to back up inferences about character traits. This text message example proves the character trait of Billy being kind and generous. This shows a scene where Grandpa and Billy are discussing what he is going to do with all of the money from the coonskins he's been selling. Billy shares that he is going to give the money to his papa. This helps us to back up and prove the inference that Billy is kind and generous and thinks of others before himself. This also allows you to see that they have a general understanding of the scene in the story. Using ifaketext.com to retell historical events is a great way to discuss historical events from 2 perspectives. This example shows Christopher Columbus texting with Queen Isabella after finding land. Here the students have to point out specific details to show you what they know. This is also a great tool to use when showing 2 different sides. For example, you could have King George texting with a colonist. This would help to discover and explain different sides of a historical event. A final thing that ifaketext.com is good for practicing is using voice in writing. Give the students a topic. Then give them a specific character type and tell them to text with that character's voice. Here are a few examples. The texting situation was to be texting with a friend about needing to go to the mall. You can see the 2 different characters have very different takes on how they feel about this. As you read their text messages, you can begin to develop character traits based on their voice. This helps students develop and find their voice for writing about a specific character. Now I'm going to show you how to use ifaketext.com. It is a website, but it can be used on an iPad or on a laptop or computer. When you go to this website, this is what you will see. The students can enter a name of their character or historical figure. I am going to use the character Nick from the book Frindle. They can then choose a specific phone carrier. You will see an example conversation started. It is very important that you specifically type the name of the person speaking with the colons after it. Then the words you want texted. For example, if I was doing Nick from Frindle, I might choose a scene where Nick was telling other kids in his class all about choosing the name Frindle for a pen, just to get back at Mrs. Granger. So as you can see, you put two different characters. You put what they would say and then go back and forth. You can continue to type approximately 5 to 6 lines. Sometimes you may create your screenshot, see that it doesn't fill up the entire space, and come back and edit. Feel free to let them use texting talk or abbreviations. Emojis seem to work sometimes. Other times they show up as just random symbols. When you are finished typing in your lines, you hit Create Your Screenshot. Then you will wait for your example text messages to pop up. You will have the ability to save these to your camera roll. If you are using a laptop, you can also save them. You will want to click on the small one to the left. When you touch and hold here, it will give you the ability to save it. This cannot happen while I am taping and explain everything. But when you are doing this yourself, you will be able to save the image to your camera roll. Then students can post these on a discussion board or tweet them, or possibly put them together to create one big long conversation. If you see mistakes or see that you have extra space and so you want to add something, you simply go back and you can add to what you had originally written. Then you will be able to look at your final product. This is how to create ifaketext.com. It is quick, easy, and the kids love it. Try it in your classroom today.